This is the one where I can't seem to stop people pleasing. Yeah, people pleasing. People pleasing is something that I think a lot of us have to deal with. A lot of us kind of honestly struggle with, but we don't talk about it because it would be contradictory. It would like fight with the people pleasing because you'd be making people upset. So I really want to dig into this topic today because I quite recently came into terms with the fact that I'm on my way out of people pleasing, and as amazing as that is, it's making me hyper aware of when I still do it because I'm so desperately trying to stop. So I thought this would be a really great topic to be my first topic for my very first solo episode here on the Crystalline Coven. I don't know, however you pronounce it. I like crystalline. It sounds more beautiful and perfect. But I really wanted to dig into this topic as my very first topic because I find that when we better ourselves, we open up the opportunity to love people so much more and to open ourselves up to new experiences. And I just truly believe that if we take out the stigma of wanting to people please and opening up that communication, we stop feeling guilty about saying no. So I really wanted to dig into this topic, and I really hope that you resonate with it. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Crystalline Coven, or you can follow me as well at that Crystal Virgo. So let's start off with being a kid. We all, as a child, have our own experiences, whether it be because of our parents, because of friends, however it is. We kind of develop this, either you're like a bossy kid, and as an adult I see this in kids. A child either dominates everything and they can kind of like do this, and the kid just kind of plays and people just are attracted to this kid. It's kind of like the king archetype. But then there's a lot of children that you see that are just really trying to keep up and just trying to do their best to make friends, and they're changing their personality to mold with their friends because they just want to be accepted. So now I can't speak for many other people other than myself, so this is the outlook I'll be speaking from. Take what you like, leave what you don't, but I would love to hear your input. So for myself as a kid, I grew up in Brazil, and I did grow up in quite, I guess you'd say, like a religious surrounding. I didn't necessarily go to church, but my family was religious. So it's not that I necessarily was forced to people please as a child, because I love my parents and I don't think they would ever consciously be like, you have to do this stuff. But from a young age, I felt it was pretty well known that I came second. Like, making sure that the people around me were happy with my presence came first. And ways that this came out of is things like this is how it started, not how it is now, but things like my mom saying things like, stop screaming, stop talking loudly, don't use. And I understand in like a social setting you don't want a kid screaming, but when a child is at home playing and they decide that they want to scream and like get that energy out, I think that's healthy. And like I think children have that pent up energy and they need to get it out. And I think there's a lot of scream therapy that you just like shout from the top of your lungs. Like I think using your voice, I have a very overactive throat chakra. Like since a young child, I need to get that voice out. But as a young child, I was told, don't do that. It annoys me. It's too loud. I don't like that. So I learned from a young age that I had to put myself smaller. So from then on, I found that it was very easy for me to be like, oh, they don't like it when I do this. I'm going to diminish myself and my personality and who I truly am to make them more comfortable. And I understand to a certain degree as children, I guess we do have to do that for our parents. But do we actually have to, right? Because I'm noticing that this has caused a domino effect in my life. Now, growing up, I also was an only child. I think that did put a lot of pressure on me as a solo kid. So I think that also probably had a lot to do with it. Um, Now moving into being a preteen teenager, um, I found myself never fitting in the sense that I was always having to change my thoughts and what I was into and all that stuff in order to fit in with a group of people. And I find that one of the first times that I really started connecting with people, like genuinely, was probably in like the second or third year in high school. I started getting a little bit closer friends, which was really just like one small group of girls. And but even now I can count on one finger the girl that I still talk to, and it's Sam, the one I'm doing this podcast with. So that just goes to show I've always had a really hard time connecting with girls and women and just people in general, because I felt like I always had to be someone I wasn't in order to please them. And I felt like I've never been able to truly open up and be myself, which is why I appreciate having a friendship like Sam's, that I'm able to actually do that. And I find that it's so important that as a woman, we find at least one person to do that with. And I don't know what it is about our society that kind of makes us feel like we have to be this like perfect housewife, we have to be prim and proper, we can't swear, we can't dress a certain way, we can't talk a certain way. And I don't like that. Like, if I want to go out the door in a full fucking glam, I want to be able to do it. And if I want to on the same day take all of that off and go out like this, I want to be able to do that too without feeling judgment. And lately I've been so much better at that. But as a teenager, I did not feel that at all. The people pleasing was with friends was really changing my personality to make sure that I was gonna still be able to hang out with them at lunch, things like that. Now, this is where it starts getting messy. Relationships. And this is where it goes from being like, hey, this is an internal belief from when you were a child, to now like, hey, this is a big fucking problem that you're gonna have to deal with, or else it's gonna get really fucking bad. And for me, it got really fucking bad. So, let's get into that. Um, I would say from the get-go it was super easy to just put your kind of feelings aside and be like, oh, it doesn't really matter what I think or feel about the situation, as long as the other person is happy, because you're so focused on making sure that the other person is happy, because it's almost like your happiness is connected to their happiness. And I think that this becomes the issue with people pleasing, is that you start associating your own self-worth with someone else's happiness. So I found that in high school, as I started to have crushes on boys and stuff, and had like my first boyfriend, like serious boyfriend, at closer to the end of high school, where it was like serious. I found myself doing anything that they wanted to do and completely changing any of my own personal interests just so I could be with them. And at first, that wasn't so bad, because I feel like I learned a lot about different hobbies and that was great, but I did not get an opportunity to grow as my own person in those moments, because I was so lost in becoming this other person and pleasing them in that way. Now, as I got older, I became more aware of this people pleasing, but I didn't change it. It actually just evolved into something nastier. So at first, it was really just trying to change my personality, which at this point I was game. Like, I didn't even know who I was. I was just a mirror. Whoever you wanted me to be, that's who I was. And it was really toxic for my own self-worth. I actually even got a tattoo on my wrist. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. It says, "Know your worth." This tattoo was in a moment that I realized I need to change something about this. However, I got sucked into it again, because it's like an addiction almost, and I felt like the needing to please people was like literally eating me alive. And it became in the terms of literally making myself so small to not bug people. It became my people pleasing. It was making sure that I was always available on the phone when a friend needed to vent, even though I was going through the worst time of my life and I couldn't tell anyone about it. It was not eating because I didn't want to spend too much money on groceries, because I was trying to please their lifestyle. And it was all these things that I was doing to myself, that now that I look back, I'm like, I was trying to people please, and I was trying to please somebody. And I find that people pleasing, the true meaning of it is like when you put someone's needs before your own. And for the longest time, I was like, I don't say yes to people a lot, because I won't lie, for probably about 5 years, I had a hard time saying yes. I didn't leave the house, I didn't see anybody. And because I was people pleasing one specific person, that was extremely toxic. And I'm so thankful and happy that I'm fucking out of that bullshit. But it's still one of those things that, like, my people pleasing was just different. It wasn't saying yes, 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 like most people think. But it was in the sense I was pleasing one person so hard I lost who I was. And thankfully, after leaving that relationship, I felt like I took a breath of fresh air, and I was like, oh my god, I'm a different person. I don't fucking care what anybody thinks about me anymore. I was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Literally, that's how I felt. And I'm realizing that, yes, I've healed that people pleasing aspect of me, but there's another people pleasing aspect that crept up, and it was the yes. Because now that I was happy and content in my life, I felt like I needed to be there for everybody in that way now. So, favors, like, I was doing art commissions, and I was taking on way too many projects at once, giving people deadlines that were not consistent with what I could produce, which put a lot of stress on my life, on my relationship with my mom, my boyfriend, everything. And it's toxic as fuck. So seriously, it's one of those things that now that I'm aware of it, and I'm doing these things, it's so stressful. But I find that I'm making the move towards the right direction. And I think it's really important that we take out the stigma of not talking about it. Like, if you feel like you're people pleasing, freaking talk to your friends about it, and you'll stop feeling as guilty about doing it or going through it or feeling the way that you do. I find that we take for granted ourselves and our friendships and all those things when they're genuine. And there is no people pleasing when you can genuinely be yourself with someone, and you're not feeling like you're putting on a mask to make it okay. Of course, this leads into like being in a relationship with a narcissist, of course. But I find that as an empath, it's easy to be a people pleaser, because someone's emotions literally are reflected in your own. And it's like, if you don't make someone else happy, you're gonna be not feeling good, right? We will be doing other episodes on relationships and narcissists and all that, because Sam and I have both dealt with that in our lives. But I just really wanted to kind of get into this topic for now, and I really want to know what you guys think about this. Have you had kind of like an experience with this? Have you had like something similar, maybe in a relationship or a friendship or even a relationship with your parent? I'm really curious to know. Now, here we get into what you can do for yourself and what I've been doing for myself. And I honestly, it's only been a couple days, but I already feel so much better. And it's making at minimum 3 things a day that you're going to do for yourself. That does not include the happiness or attachment of anyone else. So this isn't like a work project that you're going to please your boss with. This isn't like something you're going to do for your friend. This isn't something you're going to do for your boyfriend or girlfriend. This isn't something you're going to do for your husband or wife or your kids or your pets. This is something that you genuinely want to do for yourself. It can be making cookies or going to the store and buying and eating a box of cookies. It can be doing your hair and makeup. It can be meditating. It can be writing on your journal. It can be praying. It can be reading cards. It can be watering your plants. It can be anything that is for you and you only. And make sure that those 3 things get completed and notice the change in your life. This is a download that I got in the morning. I was having a really rough time, and I kind of kept my boyfriend up for about an hour kind of talking about this, about people pleasing. And in the morning, it was just like, that was the message I got from my higher self, from my guides. It was to stay on track, you need to let go of this. And with the Great Conjunction happening in 2 days, and today we just had, or today Jupiter is entering Aquarius. I can't know exactly what time that is at the top of my head, but I know that is happening today, and it's bringing forth letting go of a lot. And I think it's just I'm really excited for this kind of new path, and I think that I'm really on the right path to getting over this whole thing. But yeah, anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you try the 3 things a day. Let me know how that works for you. I find honestly it hasn't been that long since I've been doing it, but I have been feeling a lot better about it. So I just feel more motivated to do things for me. I'm like waking up every day looking forward to doing things for myself, and I'm not looking at time thinking, oh my god, I don't have enough time for everything in my day. I'm thinking like, hey, I'll just do everything I want to do first, and then whatever else falls throughout the day falls throughout the day. Obviously, if you have really important tasks you need to do, you need to make sure you get those done. Absolutely, maybe stagger your 3 things throughout the day. It's just for my personal life, it does work that I can do everything in the morning for myself. But I want to leave you guys with a little mantra for people pleasing that I kind of downloaded the other day. As I was speaking to Johnny about all of this, and I just remembered, oh, my people pleasing mantra is, when you say no to others, you're saying yes to yourself. Yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. That was a little bit long-winded. I don't know how long the video is because I can't see, but our podcast. I hope you guys enjoy my first solo episode here on the Crystalline Coven. We will be doing a joint episode that we're gonna be filming over Zoom together, so we're really excited to do that. It's gonna be a little get to know us, where we're just gonna be bouncing questions off of each other. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll be able to post all 3 of those videos together, so you should be able to just press back and watch that or listen to that. Or if you came from that episode, welcome to my first episode, and I hope you enjoyed our joint episode. I feel like I'm just babbling now. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day.